Hi guys, my name is Matt Walters and I am talking today about the growing risks of the Internet of Things and how to secure it. First off, what is the Internet of Things? The Internet of Things, or IoT, refers to the collective network of connected devices and the technology that facilitates communication between devices and the cloud, as well as between themselves. IoT includes many smartwatches, car radios, surveillance systems, and more. With just the large amount of devices on the IoT, it brings risks, whether that be security or privacy risks. The privacy risks of the Internet of Things are the excessive data collection that comes with the expansive Internet of Things. These devices collect vast amounts of personal data like location, health data, and usage patterns. The collection of this data may be done without the user's full understanding of the purpose of the collection. Data breaches are a well-known privacy risk when it comes to the Internet of Things. A data breach occurs when information such as SPII or sensitive personal identifiable information is stolen or taken from a system without authorization or the knowledge of the owner of the system. With access to the somewhat absurd number of devices on the Internet of Things, this can lead to a new device's vulnerability that could lead to a data breach that affects your organization's data. The lack of control and transparency of privacy policies can cause risks to users or the IoT Internet of Things devices. Users often have little control over the data that is collected by the user or by the devices, and the privacy policies that were created for the Internet of Things devices can be complex and difficult to understand. Since we talked about the privacy risks, we're going to talk about the security risks of the Internet of Things. One of the first risks is an increased attack surface in the Internet of Things. This is a security risk to the Internet of Things. With the addition of newer devices and services that are added to the Internet of Things, it brings new possible attack vectors for cybercriminals to use. These are possible vectors that can act as a gateway or target to get to the broader network. When they add more devices, and those devices have issues like vulnerabilities, improper patching, improper updates, that just adds more attack vectors that these cyber criminals can get into to attack other systems. And we'll talk a little bit later about circumstances that just like this that caused larger attacks off of small devices on the Internet of Things. Weak authentication can be a target for cyber criminals. Passwords are one of the first basic lines of defense against cyber criminals. If passwords are not strong, then your Internet of Things device is not going to be secure. Default passwords are relatively weak since they are intended to be changed by the user. In some cases, they might be even publicly accessible or can be stored in the application's source code. User passwords can also be weak when the user uses easy to remember passwords, thus they are easier to penetrate. It is very important when you have new devices that you have strong passwords. Using weak passwords like repetitive words or birthdays, names that are not random can be very, very easy to penetrate using bots. Insufficient or lack of encryption can be one of the greater threats to the Internet of Things security. Data transmitted by the Internet of Things is often not encrypted, which if a cyber criminal penetrates the network, they can intercept sensitive data. With all the abundant amount of devices on the Internet of Things, if they aren't encrypted, that's a big weakness for that system and an easy access for those cyber criminals. Missing firmware updates and vulnerabilities are outdated or unpatched firmware in the Internet of Things devices that have, are outdated or unpatched firmwares in the Internet of Things devices that have either known or unknown security flaws in the code or a third-party service. Updates and patches are needed to repair and mitigate security risks. With older devices or newer devices, it is super important to keep patches and updates rolling to get those crucial security updates for the systems that are applicable. The lack of management and visibility is caused by organizations, legacy systems and software. These older and outdated systems are much more susceptible to attacks due to the systems not being compatible with their new encryption standards. It's risky to make legacy applications and systems and internet enabled without making significant changes. You shouldn't add older systems to the internet because they are more susceptible to attacks with them not having proper security updates. On to the next one. Lack of management and visibility is caused by an organization's lack of tools, programs, and processes to manage and monitor the growing number of Internet of Things devices on their networks. This makes it difficult to recognize if a device has been compromised. And this is just when you have just an excessive amount of devices, whether it just be computers or a security camera. Those just have an excessive amount on the network. Is hard to be able to pinpoint what is the vulnerability or the compromisation. Hardware attacks are when a cyber criminal has physical access to the Internet of Things devices. It is not all the Internet of Things devices are in remote and secure areas. This allows them to steal information, install malicious software like a rootkit, and tamper with devices. It's important to have your at-risk devices secure and not accessible to the public to be able to protect those devices. Now, with talking with all of these different risks to the Internet of Things, including security and privacy, I want to talk about some pretty prevalent attacks that were caused by weaknesses in the Internet of Things. The first one I want to talk about is the Miria botnet. This was a service created by two college students. The Miria botnet was a DDoS software that in a cyber attack in 2016 that infected poorly secured Internet of Things devices and turned them into massive armies of bots used to launch powerful distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks. Miria was created by Para Jha and Josiah White, the co-founders of Protraf Solutions, a company that offered mitigation services for these attacks. The attacks carried out by the botnet targeted the same organization that they were being offered fake services by the botnet operators. The original hackers posted the malicious code they created. This has caused the Miria botnet to evolve and mutate, giving birth to variants such as the Okiru, the Satori, the Masuta, and the Pure Masuta. So, this attack, this malware, this malicious code created and attacked weakly secured Internet of Things devices, basically making them bots and creating that massive army to attack and just send requests massive amounts of requests to systems that created this, denial of service attacks. The next one is a Target credit card breach. This has happened many times, but 2013 is a big one that occurred. In 2013, hackers breached Target's network and stole credit card and debit card information along with personal records from millions of transactions made at Target. This attack was achieved by using the Internet of Things to access the sensors used by HVAC vendors to monitor Target's energy consumption and make their systems more efficient. The malware on the HVAC vendors' POS systems captured payment data of millions of customers. About 40 million customers lost their credit card and debit card numbers. They were stolen. And 7 million customers, their personal information was stolen. So this is a massive attack. That's lots and lots of people. That's 110 million individuals, and that's a massive amount of Americans that had their information stolen just off of a tiny little sensor. It really gives you a scope on how important securing the Internet of Things is. The next one I want to talk about is a pretty crazy one. It's the St. Jude medical pacemaker. Now, you wouldn't think that pacemakers can necessarily be hacked. You think that would be a system that would be super secure and secure, and because you're putting it in your body, and it's crazy to think that it could be attacked. In 2017, the FDA announced that there was a recall on almost 500,000 St. Jude pacemakers due to hackable cybersecurity flaws. The FDA stated that the vulnerability allows the unauthorized user to access a device using commercially available equipment and reprogram it. Hackers could then deliberately run the battery flat or administer improper pacing, which can result in death. An individual was required to visit the doctor to send a firmware update to the pacemaker to patch the security vulnerability on the already implanted devices. The rest were, of course, just recalled. So there wasn't any proven attacks that happened. But the fact that a pacemaker being attached to the Internet of Things, being monitored using applications that are commercially available, is crazy. That someone can just get a hold of that service and basically kill or unalive someone using that service is pretty crazy to me. With all of these attacks and talking about the different security risks, it's important to understand why maintaining privacy and security in the Internet of Things is important as an individual. Maintaining privacy and security on the Internet of Things is important as an individual. It is crucial for individuals as an interconnected nature of the IoT can introduce significant risks to your personal life and well-being. It is essential for protecting your personal information. It is important to prevent data breaches and identity theft. It is important to safeguard your sensitive information like email, text, and other messaging services such as Teams, or like a Facebook Messenger and stuff. It is important to control your location and data from services that collect this information. Giving access to your location to every single service you own just opens you up for attacks. You don't want to let them know where you are, and you don't want them to be able to access it through that. Ensuring your physical safety and security. This is important by preventing unauthorized access to your home. Don't let people in. That's another, like we talked about, physical security. You don't want to let people in to your home or your organization to access those secured Internet of Things and those important systems. You can also do it by protecting against remote manipulation of devices, like untrusted or possible compromised devices in your home. Don't add those systems to your don't add those vulnerable systems to your Internet of Things. And by maintaining the integrity of health-related devices like insulin pumps, pacemakers, that could be compromised. Again, if you had the St. Jude's in 2017, that pacemaker was important to go get it fixed if you needed it for your health and well-being. Maintaining control over your personal data and preventing unwanted surveillance. Preventing unwanted surveillance, like giving authorization or unauthorized access to cameras or willingly or unknowingly, that is important. Controlling your data that is used. Don't give your data out to everybody, and avoiding unwanted intrusions. The next is protecting your digital footprint and reputation. It's important to prevent your devices from being used in cyber attacks. So maintaining your devices, patching, updating, making it so that you're not the person that lets in that attack. And just maintain your online privacy. Don't give out, your search history and all that stuff, and your passwords and stuff like that. As far as organizations, why is maintaining privacy and security in the Internet of Things as an organization important? Maintaining privacy and security on the Internet of Things for organizations is important for a multitude of critical reasons that impact their operations, reputations, legal standing, and financial stability. Here's a breakdown of why it's important. Protecting sensitive data and intellectual property. It is important to safeguard the business critical information. It's important to protect intellectual property. You don't want to let people get your ideas and your inventions for free. You want to protect that. And just to secure your customer data, because you don't want to have a breach and ruin your reputation or face legal issues. Another important thing is ensuring optimal continuity and reliability. It's important to prevent disruptions and downtime, so try to keep your systems up at all times, and avoid disruptions. It's important to maintain the supply chain integrity. You don't want to be that one chain in the link that does get attacked and causes everybody to be attacked. It is also important to guarantee the safety and the reliability of products and services. So making sure you're confident and that your services are watertight. Another one is maintaining regulatory compliance and avoiding legal penalties. It is important to adhere to the data privacy regulations and to meet the industry standards and certifications. Another one is to protecting brand reputation and customer trust. It's important to avoid negative publicity and loss of customer confidence, and it's important to maintain stakeholder confidence for that. Another big thing is to mitigate financial losses. So it's important to avoid costs associated with data breaches. Of course, you don't want to lose funds due to data breaches, and it's important to prevent financial fraud. Another important factor is ensuring business growth and innovation. It is important to build a secure foundation for the future of Internet of Things deployments, so that you want to have policies in place so that you can add these new devices to your network and still be secure. And you should, foster trust. It's important to foster trust in the IoT solutions. Protecting ourselves and businesses from cyber attacks. There are many ways that you can protect yourself through attacks or from attacks through the Internet of Things. Some are more complex than others. A simple way that you can protect yourself from a possible IoT attack is to remove possible affected or vulnerable devices such as legacy devices, unpatched devices, and more. Perform regular software updates to keep devices firmware and security patched up to date. It is important, Jeff Groom from IBM Technology suggests creating a subnetwork just for the Internet of Things devices and guests. So this is just creating another network that you can put the possibly or more at-risk devices that you use on, or just to put everything on there so that you can have your systems, your more important integral systems on that main network, and then having that subnetwork for you're going to put a new camera on that you bought off Amazon, or putting a watch or something like that, just so that you can protect your important devices and keep those over on that subnetwork, because if that gets compromised, then you're still safe, and all they have access to is that subnetwork. This will create a network that, if it is infected, will protect the users and important IoT devices and data. Using strong passwords and policies is a great way to keep workstations, applications, and services secure. So just keep those passwords, airtight. Don't use repetitive words. Use strong characters. Being able to just always change them from the default. Don't keep those default passwords. It's important to customize, but not customize to something that's included in your SPII, because you don't want, if they know your date of birth, they're going to try to use it. End-to-end encryption will encrypt the IoT device's outgoing data and will ensure that even if it is intercepted, the data will be encrypted and undecipherable by the cyber criminals. This is important. Just have everything encrypted so that if it is intercepted, that they can't read that data. So it's still secure, and it's still on its way. So they're going to be frustrated that they can't get past that. For organizations, implementing access controls for least privilege or role-based restrictions will help combat unauthorized access and can protect companies that have small implementations of bring your own device. This is important for adding new devices on, having new employees. It can be a physical and a virtual way to protect your information and devices on the IoT by just not giving access to everything to that new device. You add a new computer that an employee brings in, and it's their own device. You should be a little bit more skeptical and not trust entirely that device. It's important also to implement more robust components and specialized hardware that can make it more difficult for cyber criminals to access the data physically. Don't have easy to break open computers. Like if you have physical servers, it's important to lock those. Have the really nice robust cases so that someone can't just easily physically access that network. And then to implement cybersecurity protocols to establish and enforce cybersecurity guidelines that will ensure a secure Internet of Things ecosystem and protect all devices. In conclusion, the Internet of Things presents a significant opportunity for connectivity capabilities, but can have a considerable privacy and security risk for businesses and organizations and individuals. Incidents like the Target data breach, the Myria botnet, and St. Jude's pacemakers underscore the potential for excessive data collection, data breaches, physical harm, and operational disruptions stemming from the poorly secured connected devices. If individuals and organizations adopt strong security practices and robust protocols, they will be successful in prioritizing security and privacy that are crucial to mitigating these risks and ensuring the safety and reliable utilization of the Internet of Things technologies. And that's my presentation. Thank you.